done exactly the same thing, but the weather conditions are atrocious, and I think psychologically he's cracked. He's got to snap himself out of it and get back into some kind of concentration to stop losing time on Marco Pantani. But for the moment, Marco Pantani riding himself into the yellow jersey because he's almost 5 minutes ahead of Ullrich on the road.
Well, this is truly unbelievable here. Bobby Julich also staying in the thick of the action and trying to hold or at least limit his losses here to Pantani. Remember, he's fighting to hold on to second place overall in the Tour de France, and it's not no longer to Jan Ullrich, it is now to Marco Pantani. And you know, I keep thinking about Les Deux Alpes because they got the Tour away from Alpe d'Huez. The first time the Tour has been here. It's probably the most dramatic day we've seen in Tour history, in modern Tour history, and they've got weather like this.
It's quite a shame, but it really has created a dramatic race. Here's Bjarne Riis now trying to come back up to Jan Ullrich. It's as if the whole of the Telefcom team have been devastated this afternoon. The racing has actually been up the Deux Alpes before because the Tour of Italy came here several years ago. On that stage, it was Marco Pantani's teammate Bobrick who won the stage, and Pantani had a very bad day then. But today it looks as if he's turned the tables around because he's flying up this mountain and really writing his name into a legendary mountain stage of the Tour de France.
Well, as we saw earlier, this mountain is for the Italians today. The borders are not very far away as the road goes on towards Sestriere. And Marco Pantani is giving the Tifosi exactly what they wanted to see. But I don't think even they believed they were going to see more than this man win the stage. And they are. They're going to see this man pull on the maillot jaune.
Incredible. He's starting to weaken a little bit now, but after the breakaway that he's put in, that's not surprising. Bobby Julich looking very comfortable, punching away at the pedals. This man has come to the Alps. This is where he feels that his ability is much better. He doesn't like the steep, difficult climbs of the Pyrenees, but these longer ones in the Alps he feels resembles the roads of Colorado, which is why he's putting the pressure on today. He can feel there's a possibility for him to climb up above Ullrich in the overall standings, and why not a yellow jersey at the end of the day? But that, I think, Phil, is going to be taken away from him by Marco Pantani, who really is doing the ride of the day.
Just thinking there that Julich, Paul, now he's moved across to live in Philadelphia, training on the Manillon Wall is going to feel pretty easy after this year's Tour de France.
It will do. It's not exactly the slopes of the Deux Alpes. You have to take the Manillon Wall about 15 times to put it in perspective with the Deux Alpes. At the back now of the group, you can see two Telecom riders with the man wearing number 1 as last year's winner, Jan Ullrich. Bjarne Riis and Udo Bolts, they're trying to muster up a little bit of support for him, some morale boosting. They'll be talking to him, explaining to him that he needs to get back into some kind of concentration to keep his pedalling going. Over 4.5 minutes now for Marco Pantani on the chasers.
And I think that might well be to Bobby Julich and further back even to Jan Ullrich right now. But over the years, you know, the way the journalists have tried to build this rivalry between Bjarne Riis and Jan Ullrich of how competitive they are to one another. Now we have Riis here waiting for Jan Ullrich and trying to coax him up to the summit.
But Ullrich realises now that he has got a great teammate in the shape of Bjarne Riis. Riis is a very experienced rider, 34 years of age now. He will know exactly what is going through Ullrich's mind, and he'll be coaxing him like a master to the pupil. Now the pupil has become of age, but still he needs somebody around him just to keep him calm in situations like this.
Well, this is the one day in a Tour leader's life you hope never comes, and they always say it does one day, and it's come pretty early to Jan Ullrich. Remember, to happen to Miguel Indurain, but not until he'd won the Tour 5 times first. Bobby Julich, well, this is his second Tour de France. He wants a place on the podium in Paris. Now he's having to fight for it. Second overall this morning. He's now riding second on the road. He's holding second overall at the moment. But he's behind Marco Pantani. I bet you even Bobby Julich never thought he would be going ahead of Jan Ullrich. And Bogert is coming onto the scene, and he's flying.
A great ride by the Dutch champion. He really has come to fruition in this year's Tour de France. Wearing number 51 there, your favourite number, the number that's won the Tour de France on so many occasions. I don't think it's going to be Bogart this year, but what a ride by this young man from Holland.
Yeah, Bogart, again, a man that's always felt he could do something special in the Tour de France. There aren't many Dutchmen race for the overall classification. There's only been 1 or 2 over the years, but it looks as though Michael Bogart is going to be a man who will feature all of the way to Paris. This man certainly will now. Marco Pantani still has another couple of days in the Alps as well to build more time, and if he gets a big enough time gap before that last long time trial, he may do what he did in the Tour of Italy and take this race out.
But while Jan Ullrich is trying to survive on the slopes of this mountain, Rodolfo Massi is currently lying second on the road. and he's about 1.5 minutes behind Marco Pantani. And Fernando Escartin has flown the coop as well, because he's slipped away from Bobby Julich, and he's currently lying third on the road. So the Tour de France this afternoon certainly turning upside down.
And the weather is not easing at all. It has been torrential all day. It blows through at the summit and it goes off for a matter of seconds. The next cloud comes over. It is very cold as well. And I think now Jan Ullrich knows all about the other face of the Tour de France, the chasing group, because Pantani is in his element.
Pantani always getting out of the saddle, always accelerating to keep his pace as high as possible, because he realises with 2 kilometres to go that as much time as he can has to be gained today, because from here on in the terrain is not to his liking. It's much flatter and there's a big time trial to come before we get up to Paris. So today is the day he really has to put the hammer down if he wants to climb up the overall standings of the Tour de France and hope of a yellow jersey or hope of a place on the podium in Paris.
Well, he's been on the podium in Paris twice before. He's had 2 third places. But now's his chance to have a shot at the yellow jersey. He's off to a good start because the Maillot Jaune is waiting for him now at the finish. The road's all newly surfaced for the arrival of the Tour here, so at least the climb will feel comfortable under the wheels, but I'm not so sure about the legs.
Bobby Julich's losing an awful lot of time, over 4.5 minutes on Marco Pantani, and Jan Ullrich, Phil, looks to me as if he's almost stopped. It doesn't look as if he has any energy left in his body at all, and if it wasn't for the 2 teammates with him, I think he may well have abandoned the Tour de France on this day.
Well, look at this now. Ullrich officially is 6 minutes and 10 seconds back now as Jimenez goes down on the inside of them. He was up with Pantani at one stage and he's completely blown. Jan Ullrich is suffering badly here. 6 minutes, I can't believe it.
Another man who's been blown out of the water this afternoon as well is Laurent Jalabert. He's nowhere to be seen at the moment. He cracked on the slopes of the Col de la Galibier, and at the moment he's around about 10 or 12 minutes behind the leading group of riders. Today's stage has caused some serious time gaps in the whole of this field, but look at the eyes of Jan Ullrich. He really is having great difficulty supporting this bad weather.
Well, it's bitterly cold as well, and he's been trying to squint through atrocious conditions with driving rain, often so cold, almost hailstones today. Hasn't affected Pantani, though. The little man has danced once again to the summit of a mountain in the Tour de France. This will be, I think, his 6th stage win in the Tour de France over the years, his 2nd of this year's Tour. And this is going to be one of the sweetest, I think, because now the Maglia Rosa of the Giro d'Italia can be joined by its partner, the Maillot Jaune of the Tour de France.
Well, it really has been a tough day for everyone in the Tour de France this afternoon. Although it was 12 degrees Celsius in the valley roads, over the top of the big mountains, especially the Col de la Galibier, the temperature plummeted to 4 degrees Celsius, which is only just above freezing, which is why so many of these riders this afternoon have suffered like they have.